6 NAACP officials, including its national president, were arrested on Tuesday after protesting President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. Both Democratic lawmakers and civil rights groups have come out against the nomination, accusing Sessions of being racist, which Donald Trump has denied. Craig, is this just the beginning for some of the fights that President-elect Donald Trump will possibly face with his nominations?
Yes. I mean, Scott Pruitt will be challenged at the EPA because he's a climate change denier. That's going to be good. But Jeff Sessions is really interesting. The man was rejected as a federal judge way back in 1986, and he's been in a feud with the NAACP ever since then. He called them a communist-inspired organization way back when, and they haven't forgotten. Now, it's not just the NAACP, but 1,330 law professors from 178 different law schools have signed an open letter against Jeff Sessions. He's a controversial nominee, but Donald Trump will stand by him because Jeff Sessions was the first big-time politician to back him. He famously, in Mobile, Alabama, put on the Make America Great Again hat, and Jeff Sessions stood by Donald Trump. I expect Trump to stand by him. Sessions, former Eagle Scout. He did serve for a long time as a prosecutor on the federal side and the state side as Attorney General. He's up for the fight, and it'll be interesting to see what his senatorial colleagues think about Jeff Sessions. After all, he served in that body, and nobody really complained about it for years and years. But the NAACP is not going to let this go. And, you know, he said that he thought the KKK was okay until he learned they smoked marijuana. He said he was joking when he said that. He did seek and obtain the death penalty against a KKK guy when he was a prosecutor. But the marijuana issue for Colorado, that's even more interesting with Jeff Sessions. He's going to have people coming at him from every direction.
Eric, we know from tweets released from the NAACP that they intended to be arrested, or at least that was part of it. This was certainly set up to have the media there and things like that. But is this kind of a, whether you call it a media stunt or a protest, is it effective?
It's effective. We're talking about it on the show, and people are talking about it around the country. So certainly it has its effect. I think we can be safe in one prediction. This will be not the last act of civil disobedience that we see over Trump actions, Trump nominations, Trump appointments. The left here in this country is energized, activated, enraged. They'll be heard from. What the Democrats need to figure out, particularly the Democrats in the U.S. Senate, the 48 of them, is which nominations they want to fight. If they completely scattershot, and some want to go after Pruitt, and some want to go after Betsy DeVos, and some want to go after Rex Tillerson, some want to go after Jeff Sessions, that won't work. I think the Democrats, I'm guessing Chuck Schumer, their leader, will at some point coalesce them and say, if we're going to make a stand, here's the stand we're going to make. My gut tells me it probably will not be on Jeff Sessions, but I could be wrong about that. I think the epicenter of the party is much more the Green movement, which would indicate maybe we go after Pruitt or Tillerson in terms of everything about Russia here. I sometimes get dubious of trying to ascertain what is in somebody's heart. I don't know what's in Jeff Sessions' heart. I think the racist charge has somewhat been debunked over the years. If there's something about Jeff Sessions that bothers me, it's a policy issue, particularly around immigration issues. I think you judge people about what they do, and is trying to divine motive and what is in somebody's head and heart in the dark of night can be a dangerous road, and I try not to engage in that exercise when I can avoid it.
Natasha, let's pick up on what Eric was saying about the scattershot effect. Do you think whether it's the Senate Democrats or other critics will be able to focus their energy, or will it be too tempting because there's a variety of areas? It's a target-rich environment, let's say.
Right, and I think people are both thriving and floundering in that environment. It's very easy to take a name and a nominee and immediately have a complaint about him, but it seems like they're doing that with every nominee. That there's been quite a bit bit of discourse about every person who comes across the table. And that's just not going to work in American politics. Some of these people are going to be on his cabinet, and I think Sessions is going to be one of them. That being said, I applaud the NAACP for using their voice, using their platform to bring an issue that is extremely important to them to the light. People should know about it.
Patty, this sounds like an opening bell to a very divisive 2017.
And plenty of things for us to talk about at this table. You know, one of the things we have to move beyond is labels, although pot-smoking KKK members is one of the newest and greatest ones we've heard. But there are so many nuances here. There's so many different reasons you might object to a nominee, reasons you might like that nominee. I think Natasha's right that Sessions will probably make it through because he's been in the Senate for a while. That's not where they're going to pick the fight. What I'm pretty sure we all will agree on is this is going to be a year when everyone begins to learn a lot more about their constitutional rights, about the First Amendment. We just finally had a turnaround that protesters will be able to get permits on the inauguration day and the next day. That's a good move. So everyone's going to be keeping an eye out just to see where rights are infringed upon.